I think probably the latest bit of worldly wisdom that I'm aware of that has kind of hit the mainstream in recent years and has really taken hold in people's minds is this whole idea that you should love yourself first. Not just love yourself, but love yourself first, ahead of other people. Put yourself first in life. The self-help gurus now routinely say things like, how can you love anyone else unless you love yourself first? This idea has been gradually spreading throughout culture for about a decade at least, I would say now.
Wrote on Facebook, I'm tired of being strong, I want to be weak. And Iyanla said that so many of us wear that as our badge. You know, those of you, how many of you are the strong ones?
Oh, really?
Yeah. I believe it though.
Not good.
Not
But
good.
they're saying, yay, you know, strong.
Yeah, why isn't that good?
Because then, first of all, it's probably inauthentic.
Yeah.
You know, that you always put other people before you. But you put yourself last. How you treat yourself is how you treat God. So you're putting God last. Because you are the representative of God in your life.
Come on with it.
You.
Well, that's really deep. Now that just was an aha moment.
You don't have nothing right.
Where's my writing tools, Dean? Now, I've never heard it put that way before.
Yeah, because you are the representation of God in your life. And you put you last and put other people ahead of you, which means you're putting other things and other people ahead of God in your life.
Really?
Yes, really.
But I thought God said, Jesus said, what you do to the least of these and how you treat other people, you treat your brother like yourself.
Okay, that's when you're getting into the service, but in your life,
yes,
you've got to be as good to you as you want to be to God in order to be of service to others in the world.
Thank you very much.
So you first.
So it's not selfish to put yourself first.
No, it's self-full.
It's self-full.
It's self-full to be first, to be as good as possible to you, to take care of you, to keep you whole and healthy. That doesn't mean that you disregard everything and everyone, but you want to come with your cup full. You know, my cup runneth over.
Yeah.
What comes out of the cup is for y'all. What's in the cup is mine. But I got to keep my cup full. It has to be full.
I like that.
And so many of us think that, you know, we're going to get brownie points in heaven, like we're going to get to sit in the box seat section, if, you know, if we just give and give and give and give. Now, here's what the Course in Miracles says, which I love. The Course in Miracles says that when you give to others to the degree that you sacrifice yourself, you make the other person a thief. Because when you start sacrificing yourself for other people, you make them a thief because they're stealing from you what you need and they don't even know it.
Get that.
I could do a whole video on how terribly inverted this lady's ideas are. They're really, really awful. She says don't sacrifice yourself for others, whereas the Bible literally says the complete opposite of that. The Bible says put God and others before yourself. Live humbly, serve God and others before yourself. Live a life of self-sacrifice. The Bible says there's no higher expression of love than self-sacrifice, so love others in this way. It says count others more significant than yourselves. Be humble before God and others. Self-sacrifice. Ephesians says husbands should love their wives by being willing to give up his own life for her. Self-sacrifice. And similarly, the wife should submit to her husband in self-sacrifice as well. Jesus says when you're invited to dinner, take the lowliest position and give the better places to others. Live humbly, self-sacrifice. Jesus demonstrated how we should live by kneeling to wash his disciples' feet. And then he said, do you understand what I was doing? You call me teacher and Lord, and you're right, because that's what I am. And since I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash each other's feet. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you. Don't seek to put yourself first. Live humbly, serve God and others, live self-sacrificially. Jesus himself literally laid down his own life as a sacrifice for us. Can you imagine if Jesus had followed this woman's advice and said, no, I'm not going to lay down my life to save you because then I would make you a thief. You don't want me to make you a thief, do you? If that was Jesus' attitude, we would all still be lost in sin and the world would still be completely hopeless. Everything this woman is saying is a complete inversion of truth and wisdom and of Christianity. And yet they're all whooping and they're clapping as though this is mind-blowing wisdom. She promotes being selfish, but then she thinks that if she changes the word to self-full, it somehow sounds less awful. It's not. Self-full just means exactly the same thing. But the worst part of her speech here is that her whole premise is based on this core idea that you are the representation of God in your own life. Therefore, you have to treat yourself as if you are God. Put yourself first as if a God. It's idolatry of the self. Literally treat yourself as a God because you are the manifestation of God in your life. I don't think I'm misrepresenting her in that statement. I think that's basically exactly what she said. And that's the real terrible root of where this whole self-love message comes from that has currently gripped the world and become a new part of worldly wisdom that everybody's buying into. It comes from this desire for self-centeredness and selfishness and narcissism and self-worship even. It's idolatry of the self. Now, unbeknownst to most people, this is also the root idea of Satanism. When you say the word Satanism, most people think it's about killing chickens and dancing naked around bonfires and things like that, but actually Satanism is much more mundane than that. The central idea of Satanism is simply that you are your own God. Therefore, put yourself first. Do what you want to do. The Church of Satan says our position is to be self-centered, with ourselves being the most important person, the God of our subjective universe. So we are sometimes said to worship ourselves. The golden rule of Satanism is simply, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. You are the God of your own life. As such, put yourself first, do what you want to do, be self-centered or selfish. Therefore, everything that woman was just saying about putting yourself first as if you were the God of your own life, as an inversion of Christianity, aligns with Satanism.
Because you are the representation of God in your life.
So it's not selfish to put yourself first.
No, it's self-full.
Now, that Oprah video was released about 10 years ago now, but in the intervening period, that message is now spread and permeated throughout all of culture, and is now a generally accepted part of worldly wisdom. You just hear this message all the time now, wherever you go. People saying, I've got to love myself first. Got to put myself first. Before I love others, I need to love me. How can I love others unless I love me first? And of course, for people with inherently sinful hearts and for a sinful generation, we just love to hear this stuff being presented as though it's new academic insight. You mean I get to love myself first and put myself first, and that's considered good? Because I'd always thought that selfishness was a bad thing, but you're saying that it's wise? And if I change the word selfish to self-full, then that makes it okay? Tell me more, you have my ears. The Bible says, for a time is coming when people will no longer listen to sound and wholesome teaching. They will follow their own desires and will look for teachers who will tell them whatever their itching ears want to hear. Well, this is a message that itching ears want to hear. Put yourself first. Be selfish. You're the God of your own life. This isn't new academic information. This is the oldest lie of all time. This is the lie that Satan told Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. That's how old it is. And we're still falling for it today. And you know what? I've even seen Christian churches and ministries and books absorbing a little bit of this from culture recently. And since this mini-series is primarily about the music industry and about pop culture, do you realize the influence that that's had in spreading this message?
Save your soul, little sister. Save your soul, little brother. Hey, you, save yourself. Don't rely on anyone else. First love yourself, then you can love someone else.
Oh, you gotta love yourself. If you really wanna be with someone else, you gotta feed yourself before you feed somebody else.
How can you love if you don't love yourself? If you don't love yourself, you can't love no one else. I love me. I love me. I don't know about you, but baby, I love me.
I'm gonna love myself more than anyone else. Understand that if I'm gonna love someone, I'm just gonna love myself. Hey, gonna love myself, no, I don't need anybody else.
And I love myself.
If I need to love myself. I need to love myself before I love anyone else. Oh, this time I'm loving myself. I just wanna love myself.
Oh, baby, I know it hurts, but right now I gotta put me first.
The best thing I could ever do for me is love myself.
For yourself, there's no one else
Wake up and live for yourself. You gotta live for yourself and nobody else. Before I love someone else, got to love myself.